sir. Okay, we have 1 minute to go before we have to start at 7. I guess you can start reading. Do we have a list that's going around for the hearing?
Yes.
Okay, and everybody's signed up?
Yes.
Okay, we have a 7 o'clock hearing that's about to start. We're just trying to make sure we're timely getting everybody an opportunity to be there. So you can go ahead and open the hearing, sir, clerk?
Notice of public hearing regarding Comcast Corporation's FCC Form 394 transfer application, August 14, 2014. Notice is hereby given under General Law, small c, 166A, small s, 7, and 207 CMR 4.00, that the East Long Meadow Board of Selectmen, acting as the issuing authority, shall conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2014, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Hearing Room, 60 Center Square, East Long Meadow, Mass. 01028. The purpose of this hearing is to consider an application for franchise authority consent to assignment or transfer of control of cable television franchise, FCC Form 394, or transfer application, submitted by Comcast Corporation, Comcast. On April 28, 2014, Comcast announced that it will become the ultimate owner of all the Massachusetts cable licenses currently held by subsidiaries of Charter Communications, Inc., Charter. Control of the cable license holder in East Long Meadow will transfer to CCO Transfers, LLC, becoming an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of Comcast. Charter, the transferor, and Comcast, the transferee, seek approval of this transfer. The FCC Form 394 application is available for public inspection in the Clerk and Boards of Selectmen's offices in Town Hall during regular business hours. Board of Selectmen issuing authority.
All right. This here, yes.
Chairman, I report to the board that I recognize Dan Glanville is here from Comcast.
Okay. All right. I will open the hearing. Nick, do you want to give a preface of anything before he comes forward, or how do you want to do this hearing?
I'd be glad just to give a brief introduction.
Sure.
Also, notice that Mr. Cohan, Tom Cohan from Charter Communications has just come here.
Okay,
and I
wonderful.
recognize that there are members, at least one member from the Cable Advisory Committee, Mr. Oakes, is present. I don't know if there are any other members here. Sorry if I can't see you there in the audience. Madam Chairman, Board of Selectmen, this is just a review in a hearing regarding an application for a proposed merger for Comcast and Charter. And I think that the announcement that was read by the clerk summarizes it, but this is an opportunity for the Board of Selectmen to hear from both companies with respect to the creation of a holding company, if you will, and how that would affect services, if at all, for the subscribers in the town, and any questions that the board or perhaps the public might want to pose.
So perhaps first we'll have the gentleman come up and state and make a statement, and then if anybody from the audience has any questions or any follow-up, they can do so. Gentlemen?
How are you? Dan Glanville. Nice to meet you.
Oops. I'll extend it.
Nice to meet you. Dan Glanville.
Nice to meet you. Hi, nice to see you again, sir.
Paul, good to see you. Good. Yeah, sure. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Good to see you again.
Just so that we have filming going on, just so that our viewers will know exactly who you are, just state your name and who you represent, please.
Sure. My name is Daniel Glanville. I'm the Vice President of Government and Regulatory Affairs for Comcast Cable in Western New England.
Okay.
And I'm Tom Cohan, Director of Government Relations for Charter Communications in New England.
Welcome.
Shall I go ahead?
You shall.
Great. Good evening. Thank you very much. On behalf of Comcast in Western New England, and Comcast in across the country, it's our pleasure to be here. I have a binder here that kind of reviews just a little bit about Comcast, not only in Western New England, but across our division of New England, and in addition, some corporate facts. Comcast is pleased to be here this evening with our colleagues from Charter to present some detail on the 394 application, outlining the legal, financial, technical, and managerial criteria set forth in the statute for us to step into the shoes of the entity that currently holds the cable television franchise in East Long Meadow. I'm happy to be here this evening representing Comcast Western New England. I'm a 17-year employee of Comcast. a resident of Holyoke, Massachusetts. I have an office in Enfield, Connecticut, and an office in Berlin, Connecticut, for the Western New England operations of Comcast in this area. I'm proud to be a member of a managerial team that consists of financial operational management, marketing management, as well as technical operations management, call center operations out of our Enfield call center and our South Burlington, Vermont call center. And proud to be here this evening to give you a brief overview of Comcast in New England. Comcast, as you may know, is a national company that is broken down into 3 divisions. The division that represents this area is the division office out of Manchester, New Hampshire, which is our Northeast division, broken into regions. As I stated earlier, I'm a member of the Western New England region. Today in Massachusetts, or shall I say the entire region of Western New England, is encompassed with the state of Vermont, Western Massachusetts, a portion of New Hampshire, the state of Connecticut, and some areas of New York today. In Massachusetts specifically, or Western Massachusetts I should say, we currently encompass 35 communities up and down the Pioneer Valley and the 91 corridor of Western Massachusetts, servicing many of your neighbors here in East Long Meadow and have been servicing them really since the 1970s. We're happy to provide service, and we look forward to the opportunity to provide service here in East Long Meadow. What we do here is we go through some general criteria of the transaction itself in this bulletin. We go through our customer service operations, particularly talk about our community investment operations. I had some general press clips and some quarterly newsletters for your reading. But really specifically, we're here to talk about the 4 criteria, and that would be the legal, financial, technical, and managerial criteria set forth. The legal criteria is the criteria set forth under the federal law and the Code of Massachusetts regulations, which is outlined in the Form 394 application and the legal entity that is presented to you here tonight to step into the shoes of the entity that's currently holding the transaction for charter. With regard to the managerial expertise, I would speak to the fact that my boss is a resident of Long Meadow, Massachusetts, works out of Berlin, Connecticut, and has 20 years experience in the cable industry and leads a team of which I'm a member that together has about 100 plus years of cable television experience here in Western New England and really across the country. In all areas, from personnel administration to call center operations to technical operations to engineering operations. We look forward to using those managerial expertise to service customers in East Long Meadow, Massachusetts. In addition, with the financial attributes of the deal are outlined in the Form 394 application, and the legal criteria is set forth as well. More specifically, just want to talk briefly about community investment. Comcast has a long history of being involved in the community. It was founded 50 plus years ago in a city called Tupelo, Mississippi, actually, and later located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Our chairman emeritus is a gentleman by the name of Ralph Roberts, who founded the company that 50 plus years ago. Still comes to the office and founded the company that many years ago on the belief that not only do we live and work in our communities, but we should serve in our communities as well. So some of our specific community investment, whether it be in Springfield, Holyoke, South Hadley, or other areas right here in Western New England, is outlined as an exhibit to this, and we look forward to being an active member of your community as well. I know I have several colleagues today that are residents of East Long Meadow and look forward to the transaction as well. So that's my general overview. I'm happy to be here this evening to answer any particular questions you may have and hopefully work with you into the future. So thank you very much for hearing me, and I look forward to working with you.
Okay. I'll give you the floor.
And as the representative charter, let me say it's my pleasure to be here this evening, and on behalf of my colleagues at Charter, we very much appreciate the opportunity we've had to serve the residents and businesses in East Long Meadow for many years now. I have negotiated the last renewal license with the Cable Committee, and which included several of the selectmen, selectwomen over time, and gotten to know the access folks pretty well. The Charter is interested in this transaction. We are a relatively large company nationwide, 4.5 million customers. Our smallest operation, however, is here in New England. We've never had the scale here to do all the things we've wanted in terms of serving customers. So we have 53 cities and towns in Massachusetts we serve, primarily central Massachusetts and Worcester County, and we have 11 towns out this way in Western Mass. And we found that it's hampered our ability with a small footprint like that to really develop things like our business services affiliate. Many of the businesses today, the medium-sized businesses, have multiple sites, and if we can't serve their own footprint, we can't provide them the competition that they really deserve from the incumbent telephone companies that provide many services to them today. So what Charter will get out of this deal, and this is essentially a swap. So it's a fairly complicated transaction, multiple parts, but our part of this is we will be swapping 1.5 million customers, including all of our Massachusetts and New England customers, to Comcast, in exchange picking up from them about the same number of customers that are currently Time Warner customers today in the Midwest.
Okay.
This transaction is contingent upon another Comcast Time Warner transaction, getting all the approvals it's needed from several federal agencies, the FCC, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Department of Justice. In fact, all three of those agencies have agreed to review both transactions at the same time to expedite this. So Charter will be exiting New England, but at the same time not ceasing to exist as a company. We will be growing as a company primarily in the Midwest.
Okay. All right. My question is, I will ask my question first. There is supposedly a smaller company that's going to be set up in the in-between before we go actually to Comcast. And so I just don't quite understand how that's going to happen and why do you need our permission to do that?
Well, I can answer it this way, that today, as it exists, a legal entity of Charter holds your franchise. And after the close and during the close, a legal entity will hold the franchise that will be transferred to Comcast. Every franchise that we have today, of the 35 communities that I spoke of Western New England, across Connecticut, and elsewhere, are held by legal entities that are ultimately direct subsidiaries of Comcast, the corporate parent. So what will happen is that, and let me be very clear about this, we will step into the shoes.
Because our attorney's going to step up and make it even more clear.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
Comcast and the entity will step into the shoes of Charter and the entity and assume all of the franchise obligations.
Okay. Attorney Donahue, would you join the conversation, please, at this point? Some of the questions that we had asked, and I'm not sure if we've got a complete answer on them. Perhaps this will be a good time to do that.
Well, with respect to the statement that was just made, that the OCC transfer, or whatever it's going to be, and Comcast will be the franchisee, that is at odds with the statement of information that we received from Comcast. Their response to us was that Comcast was the owner of the LLC, but that the LLC was independent and Comcast was not responsible for any obligations that the LLC may have. So, to the extent that the franchise is transferred to this new LLC, even though Comcast may run the whole operation, it appears from the documents that we've seen and the responses that we've got from Comcast that the local LLC will hold the franchise and their assets will solely be responsible for dealing with the community. Comcast has no legal responsibility to step in and correct or assist. They may, this is their practice, but there's no legal requirement that they do that.
Yes.
So I can just refer again back to our RFI responses. And specifically with regard to number 9, we stated, quote, as explained above, CCO transfers will be wholly owned by Comcast. One or more intermediate entities. Thus, CCO transfers will continue to operate the local franchise. However, after the transaction closes, that operation will be subject to Comcast's ultimate control and guidance. And also with respect to the RFIs in number 14, it does state that although Comcast will be the ultimate parent, as I stated earlier, there is a parent and there are entities that exist under the parent. In my 17 years with the company, every franchise has been held by a legal entity. It's just the franchise that is held today by charter is held by a legal entity,
Yeah.
and will continue to do so.
For example, today, Charter Communications Entertainment One LLC is the license holder in the town of New Meadow.
Okay.
Charter Communications is the parent company of that.
Are you satisfied with that answer, sir?
Well, the only question we ever had, I believe that the board really had with this was, we understood the structure and the legal structure they're trying to establish. The question that we had was, we were receiving information with respect to the financial wherewithal and the abilities of Comcast, the international, the national company, but received nothing from the company with respect to what the assets and the localized management of the LLC were going to be. And the answers we kept getting were that Comcast runs the place, we own all the companies that are in the chain, therefore we're responsible. But for the attorneys who are at the table with the board, you know that an LLC, if wholly owned, only the LLC is responsible for what's going on. The parent company has no legal responsibility to do anything, only to do what it chooses to do. So what the board had asked for, I thought, was the financial structure of the LLC to which this franchise is going to be transferred and is going to be the franchise holder.
I can just refer to our response in RFI number 13, which states, and I quote, "As explained, the transfer for which the application seeks the town approval is for transfer of control of the franchisee from Charter to Comcast. Accordingly, the only relevant inquiry is whether Comcast has the legal, managerial, financial, and technical qualifications to own the franchises serving the town." I'll tell you this also, that in my entire career with the company, that Comcast meets its franchise requirements, complies with the terms and conditions of its franchise agreements, and looks forward to a long relationship, as you said earlier, with the Board of Selectmen, the Cable Advisory Board, and the townspeople.
Selectman Gorman?
I'd just like to ask you a couple of questions. Are we all going to be technicians like we were with Charter when our TV went out and they tell you to do this, do this, do that? Or are you going to have technicians that'll come to the house? Or
He's not kidding.
So I'll answer this, and this is it's just an opportunity for me to speak of Comcast and certainly not disparage my colleague or the company that he works for. But Comcast prides itself on its technical operations, its short windows with regard to respond, and its plant maintenance record. It believes in Western New England that it has some of the highest scores in the country with regard to what we call plant health and plant maintenance. We are proud of the services we offer to our customers, and we believe that we have a technical operations department that runs out of Springfield, Massachusetts and Westfield, Massachusetts, and dispatches people from their homes across Western New England, whether it be Vermont, Connecticut, and all of the communities in Western Massachusetts. We have no intentions of changing that. We believe that we operate in a very competitive arena for voice, video, and data services, and we believe it is vitally important for us to meet the needs of our customers. We look forward to that challenges that it will present. We do plan to invest in infrastructure to introduce the X1 operating system to continue to improve upon services that are offered so that people see the value in continuing a relationship with a company like Comcast. And with that, we believe in meeting the needs of our customers through I actually work down the road in Enfield in a 400-seat call center where our call center representatives run a specific technical operations queue where they answer questions, concerns, and troubleshoot with customers. That said, sometimes there are instances where there can be a guided effort to perhaps correct something that may be on a remote control or something that is an educational opportunity for a customer. But if there's a need to roll a truck for whether it be plant maintenance or maintenance at the customer's house, we do that because we believe it's important to customer service. We hope to make everybody happy all of the time, and we'll seek to do that.
Thank you.
Selectman Federici.
One question, is this going to be, because I'm not familiar with how this all works, a specific date where you theoretically flip a switch and we go from Charter to Comcast? And if that's the case, what about equipment? I mean, I assume you're going to be providing your own equipment, and will that be something that'll be obviously done in advance so that when that theoretical switch is flipped, we can just move on with the new equipment?
Yeah, so very good question. There will be a close date, and the close date will be identified. And as of the day of the close, probably the only people that will be paying very close attention to it will be Comcast and Charter folks, because that will be the transition. Customers at that point should see nothing, because there won't be an immediate change. Our plan, as I said earlier, because of the fact we operate in a competitive universe, is to make change well-informed and comfortable change for customers, so that they see opportunity in staying put with an existing company. In addition to that, we want to make customers aware of additional services that we offer. Our belief is that while we can't do forward operations at this point due to federal restrictions, we do know that in most instances where mergers take place, we can utilize most of the equipment that's in the customer's house.
Okay.
As we launch advanced services, there may be the need, if customers choose to upgrade, to make new and different equipment available to them. That is only done after conversations with the customers or customers inquiring with us, and detailed, well-informed change opportunities. So as of day one, there will be no change. Ultimately, we do hope to launch quite a few of the services that we're particularly proud of, and hope to launch it right here in East Long Meadow.
Okay.
I was in Chicopee the other night, so if I say Chicopee, please don't take anything. But I promise I won't.
I don't know about that. Okay, I'm going to go to the audience at this point. If there's no, Nick, do you have any questions? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to ask a question at this point? Please, welcome to step up to the mic here, and so that we can make sure we hear you, and state your name.
My name is Bill Kaplan. I just want to know, how about costs to the customer?
Sure, so that's another good question. There will be no price adjustments as a result of this transaction. This transaction is not funded through price adjustments. That said, there may be instances where, as programming costs change, and the cost that we pay to get either sports programming, news programming, or other programming increases, that there may be price adjustments with regard to that. Every single price adjustment that we do in every single service that we offer is done with a mindset toward the customer, toward offering the best value to our customers, especially in a competitive universe. But to answer that question definitively, as a result of the transaction, there will be no cost to customers.
Okay. Now, Dan, you're aware, I hope you're aware that we're in the middle of negotiations with Charter.
I figured that by the announcement, I think.
Oh, the ascertainment
Yes,
hearing?
the ascertainment
Ascertainment
hearing. That word usually causes the hair on the back of my neck to stand up.
Well, I don't know if that's warranted or not, but my question would be, should we finish our negotiations, would you honor that price or whatever comes out of those negotiations?
Yeah, so that's
And
a
the
great
term.
question. And we would say that it's a good thing that we've had no discussions. Tom and I have not discussed the negotiations and have no plans to discuss the negotiations. Those negotiations should continue as they have been, with the hope of reaching resolution. As I said earlier, Comcast and the legal entity will step into the shoes and assume all of the negotiated obligations. So you should continue down that road. If as I said earlier, it causes my antenna to go up when I do hear that, because it shows that there's a renewal ongoing, which I was unaware of. But it should continue, because our goal is that you are having meaningful discussions to consider the future cable-related needs of the community while considering the costs thereof. And if you do that in good faith on your side, and in good faith on Charter's side, there's no reason we should not step into those shoes. And we will.
Okay, that's what I was waiting to hear.
And we will.
Okay, all right.
You must be the attorney on the board.
No,
Okay.
no, I just listen and ask questions. There was another question, please.
Just in reference to the elderly in town, again, dealing with our current company, the cable bill has gone from 0 to hero, whatever. And a lot of the elderly on fixed income, as I am. I've got a $7 increase in my Social Security check this year. The cost is being prohibitive for people like me to have cable TV. And there is some talk about free TV. I mean, it's out there, and you know what I'm talking about. So with that in mind, in your case of tools, what do you have for the 62 and over crowd in East Long Meadow for some type of relief in reference to their cable bill? And I'll let you answer that question. Thank you for your time.
We have a senior discount today in the charter license,
We
which is
do.
10% off basic service for seniors 65 and older.
Yeah, 10% off of basic, and we went over what you had to do that. But just, would you just explain the
You have to be
process?
65 and older
Mhm.
and needs tested, being having SSI, Medicaid,
Mhm.
if there's a town discount on
Mhm.
property taxes,
Mhm.
or veterans benefits.
And we have a veterans discount also. And you said you would step in, so we're going to definitely try to keep that in our contract. Is, Mr. Hilton?
When this magical switch is thrown, what is going to happen to our programming? We have chartered a level of input coming from them. When we go to Comcast, if this is the direction we take, what happens to the programs? Do they stay the same, or do you have a new package?
So that's a very good question. As of the date of the close, there will be no change to customers. As we do make changes, what we have done in the past with these transactions is that we have identified the package that most likely mirrors what a customer may have. We then communicate with that customer. We make them aware of that package. We make them aware of a lower cost package. We have a discussion with them, and there is also the opportunity to grandfather existing packages. Generally, though, I will tell you that grandfathering takes place for no longer than 6 months, because that's what a grandfather package is considered. And then we work with customers again to get them into the package that is most similar to what they have, and again, make them aware of similarly priced as well as lower priced packages.
Okay, and so just, you said 6 months is the length
Oh,
of
for
a
a grandfather.
Typical? Is that the
Typical.
longest, or is that the
Usually-
shortest?
Usually there have been some that have gone longer. Usually it should be no longer than that, otherwise it's considered a package. So
Okay.
that's the issue with that.
I'm going to put you on the spot. How long can it go?
I've seen it go for years.
For years,
with
okay.
grandfather
All right.
packages.
Okay. All right. We do have another question.
Just out of curiosity.
State your name, I'm sorry.
Ralph Page.
Okay.
What happens if the board decides not to vote for this? Comcast still buys out charter. I mean, what happens? Is this going to be a moot point?
That goes to my question of why do we have to approve it?
We would appreciate approval because we believe approval shows that we have the 4 criteria presented here today, and they're very, I think, met criteria from the legal, financial, technical, and managerial, as we outlined in the Form 394, and we respectfully request that be approved. If that with regard to meeting those criteria, as I said, the negotiations for the franchise should continue. If, in the instance that it is not approved, there are opportunities for us to appeal the matter.
Okay, and what's that appeal process look like?
I think it's, I would defer to the DTC on that.
Okay. Okay. All right, and,
But I think I would suggest that, if you're considering something like a denial, I think we should probably continue discussing this.
okay,
Because it's pretty clear the criteria. I mean, does Comcast have the financial, legal, technical, and management experience to run a cable system? And serving something like 22 million customers nationwide, and serving almost 240 of the communities in Massachusetts, I think they clearly have that experience and meet the criteria. So if you think otherwise, I think we need to keep talking about it.
okay.
Well said.
Yes.
Sid Starks, first of all, meeting the criteria and actually doing it is two different things. We hope that you continue to exceed your service. Second, first question though, on your technicians, Charter oftentimes would subcontract to non-union contractors that were sort of subpar. Are you committed to using Comcast certified technicians for any outside work that's done in businesses or residential homes? Or will you too subcontract, which cause problems for the customers?
We have customers, we have employees that are direct employees serving in the technical operations department of Comcast, but in addition to that, we have long-standing, very strict contractual relationships with third-party contractors that we utilize as well.
So no, you do have the option to go outside the certified Comcast trained technicians.
We utilize contractors to a specific contract that we have with Comcast is my answer.
Okay, all right. Is there another question? Okay. I'll go to Selectman Federici again.
I have no questions.
Selectman, I've made you. Nick.
Got promoted.
I know. You might consider it a demotion after what happened today. Nick, our town administrator, do you have any?
I would just suggest to the board that if you are so inclined, either at this meeting or a future meeting, to approve or deny, just keep in mind that there is a 120-day deadline, which was from June 18th and would expire approximately October 15th or so. I haven't quite added up the days, but that is the board's time clock.
Okay. Selectman
Well, I'm
Bowman.
all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
One more sweep out to the audience. Mr. Hilger?
Will the LCAT channels be the same with your corporation as it is with the existing one? We have two channels for local television.
Yes.
It would remain.
Yes.
Okay. And also, our educational piece that goes to LCAT, that would stay, that remain the same too?
Yes.
And the distributions that are given to them would remain the same?
Correct.
Would you continue to pass that on to our customers, or would you take that on yourself as a company?
Sticking with yes.
Okay. I don't like that one, but okay, all right. Mr. Mackey, did you have a hand up, or are we just adjusting the camera?
Just adjusting.
Okay, all right, just making sure, I don't want to leave anybody out. Okay, so with that said, I guess we will formally close this hearing. Did you have any closing remarks, gentlemen? before I
Just
go?
one, and that is
Okay.
a thank you for the opportunity to speak and present,
Absolutely.
and I look forward to the opportunity to working with you.
Okay, thank you for coming in
Thank you.
today.
Thanks.
Madam Chair?
Thanks, Terry.
See you again.
Oh, good to see you. Thanks.
I will entertain a motion.
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to close this hearing. Second.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Do we need a roll
No,
call?
no.
Okay. All right. Hopefully we can make copies and look through this. Okay. Actually, we are running ahead of schedule. That didn't take as long as we had thought. Is Dan Helyard here at this time? I don't. Okay. Let's go ahead to approval of minutes, seeing that we're running ahead of schedule.
The minutes?
Yeah, approval of minutes. I think I'm the only one that had some corrections. We're looking at June 10th. Oh, no, that's okay. You know what, I can just pass it. There's just some grammatical things with regards to the first paragraph. The ceremony actually was taking place at the same time as the Board of Selectmen. And And then I just asked that approval of minutes, that it be added that the reason that you weren't voting, Selectman Gorman, was because you weren't part of the board,
Yep.
just because it looks kind of funny there. And just one typo on the 10th, Tuesday the 10th at 6 PM. A question, I thought it was Yolanda Evans? It's Nuwanda?
Yeah.
Well, I owe her an apology.
And WAN.
Okay, all right then. And I will just pass these over to, like I've done in the past, to Lorraine. So, with those said, I will entertain a motion to accept the open session meetings from June 10th, 17th, 27th, and 30th with the corrections.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Also, I'll also entertain a motion to accept the executive session minutes, June 10th, 27th, and 30th with the corrections passed in.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I'll go on to number 10. I will take care of that myself. I thought I had, but I guess I didn't. Number 11, the recreation director and the recreation interviews. I know that I was looking over the information, and I did see where the interviews were held, and I do remember asking to be a part of that, but I certainly understand that there is, and I guess I do have a question with regards to the timeline. It looks like the email was sent on the 28th, however, the interviews took place on the 20th and the 25th.
Twentieth and the 26th.
It says
Or,
that-
no,
it
you're
says-
right, 25th.
It says the 20th and the
Yep,
25th. And I know I did want to be part of those interviews. But in light of, I guess in the future, if selectmen would like to be part of interviews, and we've all agreed on it, they should be. But there's been a recommendation by the director to recommend Timothy LaRocca for the position. And that's a part-time position as it stands now. And I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, this is for the,
They want up that to 35 hours, which is within his budget.
that, if we can just do this first, and that's a separate discussion. So it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. I have a question also. There was a person that was appointed temporarily to that position for 6 months. What has happened with her? And is that something I need to take up in executive, or is that something we can discuss in open session? Layla.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That was raising, what was the question?
Yes. Okay. Personnel matters, do all of those have to be in executive session, or can we talk about it in open session?
It depends what the nature of the personnel matter is. So if it's about a complaint, or if it's about, person's character, those kinds of things, those need to be in executive session, and they need to have notice. If it's
Okay.
about essentially an appointment,
We had made an appointment for 6 months, a temporary appointment, so I'm just wondering where, now that they're looking to hire, where does that put that other person? I just don't want to be messy.
I'm sorry, I just came in, so what department are we talking?
Recreation.
Recreation
Mhm.
department, so you had a position in recreation.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was appointed for a period of 6 months.
Right.
And you want to temporarily appoint somebody?
Well, she was already temporarily appointed, and now they've gone through the interviews, it looks like,
Okay.
and we've accepted the person that they've
Okay.
recommended. So does this position start at the end of the 6-month appointment that we had given already? Or is this something that I need to discuss with you, or we need to discuss in executive?
I think the question is really whether, is what was the position you were hiring for? What was that new start date? I don't think you
There
can
isn't a
say
start
already.
date.
What?
There isn't a start date. We didn't vote on that, we just voted on the person that would be being the permanent person.
Okay, and
As
is the person that was selected the person that was appointed on a temporary?
It is not.
It's not. Then, I mean, I think as a practical matter, unless you had modified the term of the appointment, my guess is that you would finish out the term of the appointment and then appoint a new person. I don't know what the contingencies were on that.
Okay. I'm going to suggest that we move that to executive so we can have an open and complete conversation with that. Okay?
Yep.
All right, so that is that. We have a Kix bonfire, yay, that's looking for approval. A one-day liquor license, insurance is on file, temporary food service permit. I believe we've already approved this, but we'll do it again. The recommendations have been received from police, fire, and DPW. The event's going to be, as I believe it's already been read, on Saturday, September 6th, from 5 to 11 p.m. at Center Field. So I'll entertain that motion.
Second.
Okay, there's second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, number 13 is E-Lease Run for Education. They're looking for a temporary food service permit for Sunday, September 21st, 2014, beginning at 8 p.m. There has been a recommendation by the health agent, and the recommendations for police, fire, and DPW are on file. I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Number 14, what, are we at 8 o'clock yet? No, okay. Number 14, special town meeting, budget memo, and warrant articles. Okay, Nick, want to shed some light on that one?
Sure. Madam Chairman, you have an email there from the chairman of the appropriations, I believe, Eric Madison. Mr. Madison is explaining that the Appropriations Committee has considered the pace of receipts to date. And because of the pace, they are not recommending the putting on of any financial reserve fund transfer type articles for the special town meeting
Okay.
at this time.
And at this time, have we received any?
No,
Okay.
no. So there haven't been any, and I'm not aware of any that are even being talked about.
Okay. All right then. Warrant articles. That's what we have. I haven't received any. Have you received any, Selectman Federici? Selectman Gorman? None yet? Okay. Have you received some?
No, but I would ask, if I could, through the chairman,
Sure.
Selectman Gorman, if he is prepared to discuss with the board any warrant articles that he would like the board to consider, and not to put the selectman on the spot, but this would be the time, unless the board would take that as a matter at the meeting on the 9th, because the time to close is the 15th. That's the board's set deadline.
I think that would be great if you want to go to the 9th.
On the
to
9th,
present
yeah,
that.
I would,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. How do you feel about that?
That's fine.
Okay, all right. Then the next one is the signage warrant articles. We can do that on the 9th as well?
Madam Chairman, this is just to let you know, this is the only official warrant article that I've received to date. It's from the planning board, and it's relative to proposed changes to the zoning bylaw for signage.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, still moving on because we're not at the 8 o'clock hour yet. There's a request from our LCAT director with regards to 2 interns. Did you want to address us, Mr. Mackey, at this time?
I'm happy to, if you have
Okay,
any
please.
questions. Sure. Good evening.
I'm sorry.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see
Wait, Paul.
you. Okay.
Well, as has been our practice for the past few years, we reach out to area colleges for a semester-long internship. So, at the beginning of August, I sent out inquiries to Western New England, Westfield State College, Springfield College, Northeastern, because we had an intern last fall from Northeastern who happened to be a Springfield resident. So, it being summer, I got responses essentially at the end of last week,
Okay,
and school was starting
so coming
Tuesday.
back, right.
So, I have two individuals who are very qualified. They're both seniors at Westfield College. One of them, Tyler Hadley, is the president of the TV club. He's worked all 4 years on, they produce As Schools Match Wits there. They do a weekly news program at the college called the Whip City Weekly.
Okay.
Very, very qualified, probably in terms of production and skills, probably one of the most qualified interns I've ever had.
All right.
And another young woman who's really ready to step in and help with the news operation. You know, we had two terrific young ladies who were our LCAT news anchors for 40 years, who both went off to college.
Okay.
So I thought it would really be a good thing to have somebody with some news experience to step in and help out there. So
She's got quite a resume.
I think she's, and met with her. So I'm
Okay.
short time frame, I understand, and I apologize for that, but it being summer, I really didn't get responses till we were about to start school.
Okay,
So
well, maybe we can work on that in the future. Now, the, just an update, it doesn't cost the taxpayers any money, correct?
it does not.
Okay, just want to put that out there. Okay, and you need two, do you need more than two?
I.
I'm just asking.
Two will be a
Two
real
will
blessing.
will be a
Two
blessing, okay. All right, and also you had spoken to somebody on the committee?
Yes.
And,
Yep.
and,
Newest committee member who has, you know, stepped up and been very proactive, looking at a lot of these things, and we'd had numerous conversations. We have a subcommittee for the budget. So one of the things we're looking at for the budget for next year is structuring internships, part-time people, that kind of thing, just a little bit in a more organized fashion than it's
Okay.
been. So
appreciate that.
we had the conversation, and he was very supportive.
Very supportive, okay.
He encouraged me to hire both of them.
Okay, so we can do both of them, correct?
I can do both.
Okay, all right. Are there any questions from Selectmen Federici? Any comment? Okay, so it is my pleasure to recommend, entertain a motion to accept both of these interns on the recommendation of Don Mackey, our director, and the LCAT committee member.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks, Paul.
Okay. All right, okay. All right, I know our town clerk was here. Would you like to approach? Okay, I got your memo today, and this is with regards to the clerk's position and the Republican registrar's position and the Democratic registrar's position, which I don't know if I have an answer for you on that. So, but if you want to start with the clerk's position?
Right. In our office recently on Friday, Linda Gerbert, who's been with us with the town for 23 years, in the clerk's office for 9, almost 10 years, retired, and obviously created an open position. And we had posted the job internally first, and we did have one candidate apply for the job, and the candidate was Mary O'Connor. She has worked for 1 year in the clerk's office
Mhm.
and didn't receive any other candidates.
Mhm.
And I feel she's very qualified for the position. She's been doing what she's basically as a customer service and a phone counter representative. You
Mhm.
have to cross-train and know a little bit about everybody's job.
Okay.
So, and it's a natural progression for her to transfer into the job Linda had, because there's a lot of similar traits that Mary does now that Linda does. As far as the counter, the phones, she picked up, she had to do dog licenses, business certificates, a lot of things she's already been doing is what Linda did.
Mhm.
So, and again, not having any other candidate, her being qualified and a member of the union, that's what the contract.
I would still like the opportunity to have a conversation with her if I could. So can we
Absolutely.
hold this off until our
You bet.
Tuesday meeting?
Exactly.
Okay.
It was for your approval, and I'm
Yeah,
not going to
okay.
do anything permanent until I get your
Well,
approval.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, then we'll do that on Tuesday. That's great to hear. So next, your Republican registrar's position.
Yes, exactly. We have an opening for the Republican registrar position, and the Republican Town Committee Chairman, Mr. Sid Starks, nominated Bill Kaplan
Oh,
for the
great,
position.
okay.
And, we're here to get a
Would he-
vote for
Would he
approval.
accept that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, okay.
You gotta
Some
choked
people
up.
can nominate folks, and it's absolutely, it's always nice to have somebody that's willing to step up.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so, well, I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of our town clerk and Mr. Starks for Mr. Kaplan.
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? No. Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right.
That's easy.
Thank you.
The other piece isn't going to be so easy, so we'll have to get back with you on that
Yeah, there's
piece.
ways that we can deal with
Yeah,
that. So
okay.
Not a
All
not a
right.
big thing. And the only other thing I want to mention,
I know
the-
you were.
Yeah, the election is September 9th.
I do.
Next Tuesday. I
Yeah.
know the Secretary of Elections Office usually wants to abstain for having meetings, locally, and I know you had mentioned September 9th.
yeah.
Having a meeting.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to, that's their advice. They rather not have meetings,
It's going to be a
however,
rather short meeting.
Okay.
Um,
And,
And it's primarily for interviews
Okay.
for
I'll make sure
a
call.
police sergeant candidate, so that we can
Okay.
get that moving, so that there aren't any delays with regards to coverage.
Okay,
And so we're trying to get that done by the 15th.
gotcha.
Okay.
The whole concept behind that is trying to get as many people out to vote.
Absolutely. If there's anybody here, I will drive them over to the polls.
There you
To
go.
make sure that they vote.
Sounds good to
Okay.
me.
All right,
Alrighty.
thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks, Ann.
Okay. Okay, we have a request for Hasbro employee, from Hasbro Employee Association for a family fun day outing on September 6th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. They're requesting for a temporary food service permit. It's already been approved by our health agent, and the recommendations for the fire department are on record. And with regards to the police department, I did speak with our chief. He said because they are not looking for an alcohol license, they do not need the police officers there. So, hearing that, I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Then next, we have a request from the Greek Orthodox Church for a 3-day Taste of Greek event. They are requesting a liquor license for beer and wine, and this will take place on Friday, October 17th, and Saturday, October 18th, from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, the 19th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's also an entertainment license that's being requested. Insurance is on file. There are recommendations on file also from the police. So I'll entertain a motion to accept that with all of the recommendations from all of the departments.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there's, the Masonic Temple is requesting for a 1-day liquor license, beer and wine for Saturday, September 6th is a very busy day. For Saturday, September 6th, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. They're asking for entertainment, and it's going to be held at the Masonic Hall at 43 Chestnut Street. It's a birthday party, and the insurance is on file. You have that in front of you. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Here, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Request for, also from the Masonic Temple for a one-day liquor license, beer and wine, on Saturday, September 20th, for a baby shower event from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., God bless you, entertainment, and it's going to be held at the Masonic Hall at 43 Chestnut Street. The insurance is on file. I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the traffic notice, I'm going to refer that to you, Nick.
This is just a notice from Mr. Parent, the Superintendent of Public Works, letting the public know that there is traffic work being done at Dwight and Williams, and he had hoped to have a copy of a press release, but was unavailable as of this afternoon. Letting people know that there will be a certain amount of traffic work being done over there, and it will extend into the evenings, trying to expedite the project. And the best I know is that it's maybe a week long. I don't know, and I wouldn't want to necessarily put the Board of Public Works members on the spot, but if they had any other information, I know that Bob was trying to get that press release. We didn't have it available.
Anything you would like to add? Okay. Okay. So that's just more so a notification. Okay. I don't know if I want to get into... Number 22, Selectman Gorman, it's in the office. Number 23.
Yeah, this letter was submitted. It was an MCP public notice requirement for permanent solution statement. Southbound travel lane on Hartness Avenue by 14 Hartness Avenue, East Long, Massachusetts, relief tracking number 1-19430. This letter is submitted to inform you that a permanent solution statement was submitted to the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, Mass DEP, on August 8, 2014, for the site reference above pursuant to 310 CMR 40-0000. Cardone ATC performed this work on behalf of the USA Hauling and Recycling, the responsible party for the release. This document and all other documents submitted to the Mass DEP are a matter of public record and may be reviewed at the Mass DEP Western Regional Office, 436 DeWitt Street in Springfield, Massachusetts. The electronic files can also be obtained on the Mass DEP online file viewer at http://public.dep.state.ma.us/file viewer/rtn.aspx (RTN = 1-001-9430).
Okay.
If you have any questions regarding this submittal, require additional information, please contact Robert Smith, 413-781-0070.
Okay. What's a permanent solution statement?
Mhm.
What's a permanent solution statement? Never mind. Okay. All right, clerk,
Yes.
we have 2 minutes left. Do you want to hit those correspondence?
All we have is a notification from Maya regarding a payroll audit. And then information is forwarded to the accounting office. I don't know if there's anything you want to add, Nick.
It's just informational.
Yeah.
Just information.